You know, it almost seems weird to be rocking the hat and be like, hey, holiday spirit, when we're going to be covering some pretty unfortunate subjects in this quick little video here. Of course, we haven't had too much to talk about in the world of hockey, of course, between seasons. We still don't know the NHL start date. Will it be January 13th? Who the hell knows? But yeah, there's some things I wanted to talk about and discuss. First and foremost, though, I will say, for those of you who checked out the video that I uploaded, probably a noob move by me to upload a video alongside a GM mode video or a franchise mode video, because obviously that's going to be watched. But for those of you that checked out the video I made about Pierre Lacroix, I thank you for that. Again, just kind of, I think it's like an 8-minute video, but just kind of my thoughts on, him, why I have him to thank for being as big of a hockey fan as I am. And of course, I kind of talked about it. It was kind of like a mini GM trade history in that video as well. So feel free to check that out if you haven't. But then obviously, let's not bury the lead any further. Henrik Lundqvist releasing the news today, this afternoon, that he will not be playing in the upcoming season after the discovery of a heart condition. And again, this goes beyond who your fandom or, your fandom, between who you might be a fan of and who your rivals are. It goes well beyond that. Henrik Lundqvist, and this isn't a controversial take, obviously, is a surefire Hall of Famer. Whether it be the stats, the trophy cabinet, even if there's one notable exception, of course, or exemption, I should say, although how, again, he's only won one Vezina trophy, I have no goddamn idea. But for my money, Henrik Lundqvist is a Hall of Famer. It's just a shame that potentially, and of course it's speculative at this point, that it could be the end of his career, but it would be a tragedy if this were to have been the last of Henrik Lundqvist that we see in the NHL. I mean, we don't know for sure, but, at 38 years old, you take a year off. Let's be honest here. Obviously, whatever, this might get some morons riled up in the chat. Hello to you morons, by the way. And you'll know who you are in a second. But the COVID situation hasn't exactly gotten significantly better, especially if you pay attention to kind of what's going on in Sweden, where they just tried to be like, well, our healthcare system's better than the U.S., which is probably right. But they just kind of tried to barnstorm their way through this, and it's catching up to them. Now, sure, the first, rollouts of the vaccines are there, but it's going to be a rough winter across the globe for a lot of people. So obviously, if you're someone in Henrik Lundqvist's position, you can't risk it. And who's to say what the situation will be like, a little bit under a year from now? Say the NHL season does start in January and the playoffs end in July. Sure, are we going to start up in October again? Maybe November, December. Who knows what that situation's going to be at that point? We don't know. We don't know what Henrik Lundqvist's personal health will be. We don't know what exactly his mindset will be at that point. He'll be 39 years old. He would have taken a year off of competitive hockey. We may have seen the last of Henrik Lundqvist in the NHL, as tragic as that is. But again, for my money, a surefire Hall of Famer. And someone else who we know for a fact that we've seen the last of, Alex Steen, retires due to some pretty serious back issues after over 1,000 NHL games. One of the longest tenured Blues in history, top 5 in scoring in Blues history, if I'm not mistaken. There you go, 5th in points, 496 points as a member of the Blues. And again, that trade for the Toronto Maple Leafs didn't really work out, as they got Lee Stempniak in return. It's kind of sad. Alex Steen, obviously not a superstar, but somebody, who's just been a constant in this league for 15 years. That's a very impressive run. He got his Stanley Cup at the end of it as well, which, obviously, part of me wishes he didn't, but I can't say, looking at that picture right there, that it makes me upset. That's awesome, man. And again, for a second-generation player, wins a Stanley Cup, has a great career. It's a shame it had to end due to the injuries. But obviously he didn't get to play this full season, and the production has slowly been falling off as it is. His retirement was going to come sooner rather than later. But hey, at least he gets to retire. Maybe not on his own terms, but he gets to look back at his career and say, I had a hell of a career. Speaking of a hell of a career, Jaromir Jagr, this is one of the things I wanted to mention. He's still playing. He's 48 years old. 48 years old, man. 32nd professional season. ridiculous. And the last thing I wanted to mention here, that Russia can't use its name and flag at the name and flags at the next two Olympics, which I have to be honest, we saw the Olympic athletes of Russia winning the gold medal, of course. I don't really think this is going to bother any Russians. They know they're there representing Russia. If they win a medal, it's for Russia, even if it says or. Yeah, it's... I don't know. There are a lot of people who are just like, ha, Russia. And I'm just like, this really isn't a punishment if you think about it. Say what you want to about like the last gold medal that, of course, Russia won over Germany. No NHL players and people just, diminishing that. At the end of the day, all of those guys on that Russian team still get to say that they're Olympic gold medalists. So whether or not NHL athletes are there, and of course this doesn't just affect hockey, but whether or not, from a hockey context, NHL athletes are there at the next Olympics, whether or not it says, Russia on the jersey or OAR, I don't really think, say, Alex Ovechkin were to go back. I don't really think he's going to be too upset about it, But, yeah, anyway, a couple of things I wanted to talk about really quickly just to get my thoughts out there. This video should be going up alongside a franchise mode episode, so make sure to check that out as well. And, yeah. Hey, let me know what you think in the comments. You know the deal. All the YouTube stuff. Check out the description. All that stuff. There's everything. The links there. The fun stuff. Things. What are you, new to YouTube? You know what you can do if you want to do it. Just